everyone, it's Nana, Foxy Mama 365. I'm here to share a few things going on, a little mess about the Real Housewives of Potomac going on right now in the last 24 hours, literally. And it's really like, I actually was watching Candice when she was on her live, and that is, and I really couldn't be bothered because she was being very petty as usual, and I felt okay. Like, if you feel so strongly about Monique, you know, there's absolutely no need. Anyways, she was telling her truth and sharing. So I really didn't watch it to the end. So I'm like, okay, girl, you know, if you don't really want to apologize, that's fine. It's up to you. You know, it's your life. But anyways, then later on, I saw the video by Monique, and I was like, okay, what is really going on? Now, we all know that this season 5, there's been some fracas between Monique and Candice. And of course, as Candice was speaking on her live, she was saying things like, oh, that, you know, immediately after she was dragged by Monique, that she just couldn't believe it, that this is meant to be a work environment. And I'm like, Candice, girl, I totally get it that we should always be about our words. However, you can't keep doing things and not expect that there will one day be a reaction. Anyway, let's start from the very beginning, okay? According to Monique. Now, I'm swinging more towards Monique. However, well, let me just share the story. So Monique she found Tishala. Tishala is her pigeon, bird, whatever that thing was. It got missing, and luckily it came back, and she's very happy. So she's doing a live with her husband Chris. This is Monique, that is. And she's talking about some friend, allegedly Gigi, who she mentions, saying they were friends, and then, you know, things are changing, that she's, you know, climbing up. People are not being that friendly. But anyway, she's saying that pretty much Gigi's trying to get a check of some sort, and is going around spreading some lies and stuff about her. And she had a lot of, you know, like receipts, okay, from people, friends, and people in the background that had been sharing stuff on messages from what the lady had been saying. She had said that Monique really didn't have a miscarriage, that actually Monique had an abortion. This is all allegedly, okay, that Monique had an abortion, and that the producers should, you know, ask for receipts. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, hello, what receipts are you looking for? Are you like waiting to look for a fetus? I'm like, what the hell? Anyways, she keeps on going at Monique, and then of course later, and at this point, Monique had just had an abortion. Monique had a miscarriage the year before, so I think that must have been like 2018, you know, and now she's pregnant. This was 2019 when these things were being revealed. She was now pregnant. She says the lady finding out that now she's pregnant now goes on to say, you know what, the baby actually isn't Chris's baby, that the baby actually belongs to some trainer Monique was working out with, and that this is now going to be the storyline. So she tries to get in touch with Candice, who speaks to her for 2 hours, and she also gets in touch with Charisse, and Charisse is like, oh yeah, you know, and at this point Charisse and Monique have had this fallout from the reunion of 2018 where they were no longer friends. You know, Charisse came out all hefty, and allegedly Charisse is trying to get back on the show. So she's obviously looking, herself and Candice are obviously looking for all the gist and all the gossip that they can get, all the dirt they can get on Monique. But when is enough? Anyway, this has been going on, and Chris is very unhappy about the whole situation. And then now we get to 2019, where immediately after Andy's son was born, there was this big, you know, get together, shindig, baby shower for Andy's son. This was in 2019, early 2019. I think it was January, February, sometime back. And anyway, it says that after that event happened, some of the ladies got together. Notably, Robin was there, Giselle was there, Candice was there, and we don't know who else might have been there. But Ashley wasn't there, and the Grand Dame wasn't there. But anyway, they all get to talking about what they're going to do, and they're trying to bring Monique down, and they're going to use the plot line that the baby doesn't belong to Chris. Because at this point, I think Monique is pregnant and about to have a baby, you know, or has had the baby. It looks like, yeah, she's had the baby, because someone now chimes in and says, but that baby looks so much like the father. It will be hard. We know that Monique's kids really look, you know, they are beautiful and they look like Chris, you know. So Someone says any which ways that would be a hard sell because the baby does look like Chris. Now Monique comes up and says that this was all going on while she was having a really high risk pregnancy, and these people are trying to, you know, put up all these tales. Now we did know that Giselle said in the first episode, I believe it was, of season 5, that the rumor that Charisse had been carrying was that Monique had been hanging around with the trainer. And I'm thinking to myself, Monique said this was a high-risk pregnancy. She almost lost the baby at about 8 weeks, she said. She was put on bed rest. So I'm thinking, someone who has already had a miscarriage and now is happy to have a rainbow baby. That is a pregnancy after a miscarriage. And then the person is put on bed rest because it's a high-risk child. Is not likely to be running about town with a trainer, because you know you've been put on bed rest because you've been told, girl, you need to slow down. So Giselle is still trying to throw that out there. It's really not cool. I'm like, how low do we need to go to entertain people? Like I said, Candice was out there saying, well, she doesn't really give any whatever about Monique and trying to play the victim. This is what I thought. If you're not going to give the apology, that's fine. But stop acting like the victim. Because Candice, she now actually confessed and said that yes, herself, Giselle, and a few other people were part of that meeting. However, she really was like, no, that's not going to fly. The thing of trying to make the baby situation not be Chris's own. And I'm thinking, how, like, you're talking about a whole human being and the person's identity. And this can, you know, you're like, do we really need to, in order to entertain, you know, for a check, you know, like literally destroy another person's life? Or that, you know, like other people, do we, as black women, how low should we go? Like, this is really low, in my opinion. Anyways, it seemed that it was said that Giselle said, well, if that first plan of the baby being, not the baby, whatever, if that didn't work, well, she's going to come bring it up on at the reunion, last year's reunion, that the baby might not be Chris's baby and all of that. However, last year's reunion, so how low is too low? Anyways, pretty much season 4 reunion was mostly about Ashley and Michael being allegedly a groper and stuff like that. So that was pretty much what the reunion was. That was pretty much what the whole season was. So Monique pretty much didn't come up, but Monique was like, okay, we're gonna see. Now, she did say that the person that brought the tea to her was Karen. Karen called her and said, girl, how like low is Giselle going? Like, this is so bad. And she's like, what are you talking about? Haven't you? And Karen's like, what, you haven't heard? Heard what, girl? Candice hasn't told you? Candice didn't tell me nothing, girl. Candice ain't my girlfriend no more. Ain't you heard? So anyways, she says Candice is no longer her girlfriend, so she really hasn't heard anything. So, of course, Karen proceeds to let her know that the ladies have sat down and decided that Monique, was meant to be the butt of the season, and they were going to bring up her baby, and the baby not being, well, possibly her having an abortion, but that wasn't brought up because allegedly it was actually even too low, even for production. Production, like, they're not going to go that low because they really felt Monique's pain when she went through that, you know, miscarriage. So they're like, nope, that abortion story is out of it, okay? Yeah, so, but if they're going to talk about the baby not being Chris's own, even that too was kind of low. But anyway, she's like, okay, we'll see how it plays out. But that was just crazy. So obviously she's now saying to herself that this season, for Candice to actually be acting like, oh, her hands are clean and she was attacked and Monique just attacked her from the blues and everything. She's saying to Candice, girl, your hands are not exactly clean. You knew what you were doing when you passed on the lady, her friend onto Charisse, so that they can divulge information. And Charisse obviously started spreading the rumor about Monique having an affair and stuff like that. So it's all really, really messy. And So of course people were also asking her, well, how come she's so friendly with Ashley, knowing that Ashley's not really, you know, hasn't always been there for her. And Monique replies and says that, well, you know what, Ashley and Michael were the only people that really agreed to not drag them. Even, you know, that every time that information or that storyline came up, they would always say, nope, they're not doing it, they're not doing it. So I'm like, okay, Ashley girl, you seem to have grown. I'm happy that having this baby is kind of make, or, you know, wanting to have a baby just kind of put some perspective on Ashley's life. But we'll see. It looks like this season is going to be a good season. But I really don't want the ladies to go that low in the gutter, okay? We're not going to be dragging ourselves in the gutter like Mama Joyce would say, okay? Well, anyways, I wonder what you guys think. Is this a low blow to be going about a child's identity? And I mean, it's one thing with people, they say this and that and all of that, but I just think that, or talk about someone being broke and not having money and not really being that it girl, you know, or someone drinking and, you know, drinking to, like, that's usually what the storylines usually revolve about. Every now and then we might have one or two bombs dropped, but to go this low, I think is well, we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. I want to hear what you think, and be sure to subscribe, and of course check me out when I do my RHOP reviews. Thank you.